Thank you, James. More than provincial bragging rights today. A berth in the National Classic at stake. In the Western Final, the 12-6 Edmonton Eskimos against the 15-3 Calgary Stampeders.
Starting quarterback for the Edmonton Eskimos, Mike Riley, was 12-3 on the season, led all quarterbacks rushing the football this year. The question is, will he be able to do it this afternoon on that bad foot? Across the other sideline for the Calgary Stampeders, John Cordish, for the third year in a row, led the league in rushing. This year he did it in 9 games, and he loves to play against the Edmonton Eskimos.
Well, John Hufnagel won a Grey Cup in his first year as head coach, still in pursuit of his second, coming off a regular season best 15-3 record. You see his postseason record, and on the other sidelines, a former assistant, Chris Jones, in his first year as head coach. The former Calgary assistant turned a 4-14 team into this Grey Cup contender, and he eliminated with his Edmonton Eskimos the defending champions last week in the Western semifinal. Ideal conditions here in Calgary today. Hugh O'Neill has it on the team. Cedric Cunningham has dropped deep for the Stampeders.
And the Battle of Alberta is back.
Hard to believe we've had to wait this long. Was a regular feature in the early 90s. Renewed here today. And Lenny Curran leads the charge downfield to bring Cunningham down at around the 30-yard line. Bo Levi Mitchell makes his first playoff start. Chris Jones called him a young Ricky Ray.
He's had reps in the postseason, but this will be his first start. 15-2 in his young career for Bo Levi Mitchell. And this Calgary football team has found different ways to win games. 15 wins total on the season. Bo Levi Mitchell, 15-2 career.
So the Stamps start at their 31-yard line. And it is John Cornish right off the hop, and they're waiting for him behind the line of scrimmage. They stop the man who has beaten them so often in the past, John Cornish, who has ripped up the Eskimos in his career.
Well, and averaging this year an amazing 7.8 yards per carry. Third straight year he was the rushing leader in the CFL. Marquay McDaniel led his team all year in receiving, despite the fact he missed 6 games due to injury. And there's Bo Levi Mitchell, 15-2 in his first playoff start.
That Eskimo defense contained Saskatchewan to 47 yards rushing last week. 2nd and 11. Mitchell on a roll, looking downfield. Curran with pressure, and he has to throw it away. It's a 2-and-out start for the Calgary offense.
John Hufnagel had decisions to make in the receiving core. We'll see across the board. Eric Rogers, a newcomer. Nick Lewis, the veteran. He had a good problem coming into this Western Final when he had to decide between Mo Price, Marquay McDaniel, Joe West in his receiving core. Just a communication issue on that last play for Mitchell.
Rob Maber to kick it, and Kendall Lawrence, who lit up the Western semifinal with a big punt return touchdown. Reversing field, and he'll step out at the 31-yard line, and a flag flies on the play. Maber with a 52-yard punt. Kim Murphy in charge tonight. Saw how important special teams were in the first game, and it was a deciding factor for the Eskimos last week.
Major foul, clipping. Edmonton, number 27, 15 yards, first down.
Mike Duplassel, reserve safety, has a meeting with the coach after that 15-yard penalty.
Yeah, Chris Jones told us yesterday that whenever you get a 15-yard penalty, it 72% of the time turns into points for the opposition. Now, he's going to try and eliminate these as quickly as possible.
First playoff start for Mike Riley, trying to beat the Calgary Stampeders for the first time in his career. And a pump and go right off the hop to Adarius Bowman, but well covered on the play. step for step was Buddy Jackson on the corner.
12-3 this year for Mike Riley. 50% of his game is his ability to run the football. We'll see if he can do that this afternoon on that bad foot. Played about a half in the semifinal against the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Looked like he was protecting it a little bit in that game.
Good to see Charleston Hughes back for the first time since mid-September. So it's Hughes on a bad foot against the quarterback with a tender foot. And out of the backfield, John White is very big hit and back-to-back defensive plays for Buddy Jackson in his first Western final.
Closes quickly, and both offenses 2-0 to start this West final. The defense is obviously pretty revved up.
So Cedric Cunningham will handle the kick return duties for the Stampeders today in the absence of the injured Jock Sanders. Hugh O'Neill to punt. Cunningham near midfield. Beat the first wave and tackled by Calvin McCarty. Just a 38-yard punt. And Bo Levi Mitchell with terrific field position as he gets set for his second series in his first ever playoff start. So great field position. Calgary starts in Edmonton territory at the Eskimo 53. And they'll hand it off to Cornish. Surge down to the 47 for John Cornish. 2 starts, 272 yards rushing against the Eskimo D this season for Cornish.
Defense that's been led by a rookie for most of the year. Dexter McCoyle, top rookie out of the Western Division. Amando Sewell, a defensive tackle, has 9 sacks on the season, which is outstanding for an interior defensive lineman. But they're going to ask him to run stop, and it's been a record-tying year for Odell Willis, 13 sacks on the season.
Our starters to watch brought to you by Napa Auto Parts, where custom advice comes standard. Second down, Bo Levi Mitchell, open man, Marquay McDaniel, touchdown! 46-yard touchdown strike.
Mentioned off the top, Marquay McDaniel missed 6 games. Led this Calgary receiving corps throughout the season. Came back against the BC Lions in the final game of the year and had over 100 yards. Gets things started for Calgary.
12 catches, 165 in that season finale against the BC Lions. The former Hamilton Ticat has the Stamps on the board first in the Western Final, trying to make a date with the Ticats in the 102nd Grey Cup game.
Shout out to everybody back home in Virginia, man. Mom, Dad, Pop, Damon, everybody watching, man.
And surprisingly, Stamps without a top 10 receiver. McDaniel out for some time with a broken hand. Here's Kendall Lawrence trying to get outside. Can he turn the corner? Tripped up at the 40-yard line. Good pursuit by Keon Raymond.
Let's take a look at the matchup for Marquay McDaniel on Alonzo Lawrence. He's going to be the 3 receiver inside here, and he's going to run a little out and then up down the sideline here. And he gets Alonzo Lawrence looking back at Bo Levi Mitchell. He's going to run that little out, and then he's down the numbers, and away he goes. He's got a step and a half on the adjusting linebacker. Ryan Hines, the safety, cannot help him. He's got to stay on the post, and Calgary get the first major of this game.
See how the Eskimos respond. Mike Riley 0-5 in his career against Calgary. Just one start confusion here as they tried the shotgun snap, and John White and Riley got crossed up, but flags fly, and it's a procedure call against the Eskimos.
Procedure, Edmonton, number 60. 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
Call against the center, Justin Sorensen. No offensive touchdowns last week in the semifinal win for Edmonton. First and 15. And it looks like they come out of their stance again, and they having trouble with the noise or the jitters here. Tony Washington, the former Stampeder, out of his stance prematurely.
I would say it was the noise more than anything. It's like they're having trouble getting the snap count, hearing, and communicating.
Procedure, Edmonton, number 58. 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
Right tackle Thaddeus Coleman there. Didn't get the snap count, little early movement. He talks to Matt O'Donnell inside.
Well, you can hear it's the Battle of Alberta. McMahon louder than even Labor Day. John White up the middle, trying to get some yardage back, and he is wrapped up by Duron Mayo after 6.
Take a look at the starters to watch for the Edmonton Eskimos on offense. And Mike Riley led all quarterbacks rushing the football by a mile with 616 yards. Got a lot of help in that run game from John White in the Western semifinal against Saskatchewan. Over 100 yards for him, and the leading receiver all season long, Darius Bowman.
21 catches for Bowman in the 3 starts against Edmonton. The hitch is thrown, and Kendall Lawrence scrambles up near the 50-yard line. He'll be short of the first down. 10-yard pickup, but the back-to-back penalties against the Eskimo offense force them off the field.
On the early penalty, and the special teams got him in trouble with field position, which turned into points, as Chris Jones mentioned to us yesterday. You take bad penalties, the opposition comes up with points over 70% of the time. That's what Calgary did. That's why they're up 7-0.
O'Neill the boot. Backpedaling Cunningham at his 11. 50-yard punt by O'Neill. Good cover by the Eskimos. But Marquay McDaniel, who did not play in last year's Western Final because of injury, has a 46-yard touchdown here in the opening quarter of the 2014 West Final. The season, 9 games for John Cornish to win his 3rd consecutive rushing title.
Honest for outstanding Canadian CFL this year.
Has run for 100 yards or more in 3 postseason games. Bo Levi Mitchell in trouble, ducked away from the first wave, and he'll get back close to the line of scrimmage.
3rd consecutive year that John Cornish has led the league. Rushing, as you mentioned, Chris, did it in 9 games. You take a look at the history of the game. Johnny Bright did it 3 times straight. Great Mike Pringle in Montreal did it 4 times in a row. And, of course, the legend George Reed. 5 times has the CFL record. 5 straight years as the rushing leader.
First sack for the Eskimos, a loss of 1. They had a team record tying 7 sacks last week against the Rough Riders. Showing pressure here. Bo Levi Mitchell trying to go over the top, and incomplete. Aaron Grimes this time was in the hip pocket of the intended target. Again, Marquay McDaniel.
Yeah, it looked like McDaniel had a bit of a step. Would have been a tough throw to get it to McDaniel. He is this time in the slot, the number 2 receiver, and that's why he's matched up on Aaron Grimes and not Alonzo Lawrence in this defensive play. But you can see Grimes had to really dig to try and catch up. Would have had to been a perfect throw from Bo Levi Mitchell.
So Maver from around his 5-yard line. Short boot and hops at about the Calgary 50. Pounced on by Lawrence to draw the no yards penalty. And terrific field position for the next Eskimo possession. Wind and non-factor flags are still at a comfortable 1 degree.
No, yeah, it's Calgary, number 26. 5-yard penalty, first down, Edmonton.
Rob Cote called on the penalty. We'll have Sarah Orleski with a report on Mike Riley when we come back to the West Final. Riley with an update on his situation. Let's join Sarah Orleski.
Well, Chris, it's been a hot topic for the last couple of weeks. Mike Riley told us night and day difference between what he was able to do going into the West semifinal and what he was able to do this week. Going into the semifinal, he was only able to do walkthrough with the team, and when they would start to practice, he would go in for treatment. This week, he did everything that he would have typically done with the first team before he got injured, and he told us he's leaving everything out there today. He wants to get this team to the Grey Cup, even if it means that he isn't physically able to play next week.
Number 7 in rushing during the regular season. How much will he take? Eskimos start at the Calgary 46. John White straight ahead. Not much there.
Well, he didn't just win the rushing title for quarterbacks. He blew away the field. Henry Burris had 258 yards. Dan Lefevre in a backup role for Zach Collaros with just over 300. There's Collaros at 328 on the regular season. And then Mike Riley, a category of his own at 618.
And he missed 3 games.
But can he do it this afternoon is the question.
Second and long. Stands in, and the ball is tipped and falls incomplete. Deflected at the line of scrimmage. Corey Mace, Port Moody, BC native, and it's the 3rd consecutive 2-and-out charged against the Edmonton offense.
And Corey Mace right in the middle of the defense. He just holding on the line of scrimmage, times a jump and knocks that one down.
A lot of injuries on that defensive front, and Mace missed 6 games this year. O'Neill looking for the corner, and are they going to rule it in for the single point? So he missed by that much from a perfect coffin corner kick. Instead, it's a 46-yard rouge for the Eskimos. Let's join Farhan Lalji.
Chris, Nick Lewis had a chance to address the team pregame after John Huffnagel, and the theme of Lewis's message was, we all come from different backgrounds, we all have different circumstances to get to this point, and we all wear different names on the back of our jersey, but today we got to play for the name on the front. And Lewis really believes that's been the theme of his season. It's been really frustrating for him coming back off his injury from the previous year. He had a meeting earlier in the season with Dave Dickinson about his role in the offense. He's tried to stay humble, but he still believes that with potentially 2 games left here, he's going to have a chance to have a G. Roy Simon type finish to the season. He knows he won't be the focus of Edmonton's game plan, so he knows there'll be an opportunity to make a play here.
11-year vet who finally got healthy late in the year. Anthony Parker drilled by Dion Lacey behind the line of scrimmage.
We had a good conversation yesterday with Chris Jones, head coach of the Eskimos, and he told us and went out of his way to tell us that Dion Lacey is going to play a lot more defensive reps in this game than even that he did last week. He felt like he split him about 50-50 at rush in with Willie Jefferson. So he loves his speed. Number 1 tackler on special teams. We're going to see him on defense.
A 4.40 coming off the edge for Dion Lacey. Dropping Parker for a loss of 5. 2nd and 15. Mitchell over the middle and the crossing route. Eric Rogers has the catch, and a little bit of a surprise, Suits, that Rogers, who had just 2 games in the regular season, gets the call ahead of Maurice Price here today.
Well, yeah, and that's what I talked about. The 46-man roster, Maurice Price was on that. He was a scratch before the game. They wanted to go with Eric Rogers, who's got great size at 6'3", but also Nick Lewis, who wasn't a guarantee to make it into the lineup here this afternoon. I think Nick's on for his physicality and blocking in the running game for John Cornish more than anything.
Maber a good kick, and Kendall Lawrence back inside his 20. Tries a reverse field, nothing doing. Frank Buffray led the charge downfield after a 49-yard Maber punt.
Edmonton Eskimos have leaned on John White. They've got a running game of their own of late. Different style running back than John Cornish. 3 inches shorter, 25 pounds lighter. His strengths, his vision and speed to the edge. He can bounce a play in a heartbeat. Mentioned over 100 yards in the semifinal. John White has a big game. Edmonton Eskimos win.
And he'll bounce a rushing defensive end as well. Out is caught, and Paris Jackson was the target. Ruling a catch up at the 24-yard line.
You're right about John White. He'll look for contact. He's smaller than Cornish, but doesn't shy away from it. In fact, he loves to deliver when it comes to pass protection. Him in combination with Mike Riley running has been tough to defend. The question is, we still haven't seen Mike Riley run in this game this afternoon.
7 for Paris Jackson, the former Lion, and wouldn't he love to get back to BC in a Grey Cup game wearing green and gold. John White straight ahead, and he has a couple. This is going to be close. Chris Jones down around the yardsticks to take a better look.
Backup quarterback Matt Nichols also right down at the stick to try and help out his coach.
3rd down, no hesitation. 3rd and a little bit less than a yard. And Riley gets a good surge. Justin Sorensen, 5th-year man.
Here, giving them the 1st down. He ran a few times in the semifinal, Mike Riley, but it was those type of plays only. Short yardage, quarterback sneaks. You heard Sarah talk about leaving it on the field. And forget about the quarterback position. It comes to mental and physical toughness. I'm not sure there's any tougher than number 13, the green and gold.
First set of downs up at the 28. Here's White. Good run by White and a hurdle for a 1st down up across the 40. Little jump in his step, and we've seen that before. 16-yard pickup for John White.
Yeah, 2 great running backs on the marquee in this one this afternoon. There's that outside speed that John White shows you. He can get the edge so quickly, he outruns the angles of linebackers. So the matchups between the linebacking cores for both these teams and the 2-star running backs going to be fun to watch. John Cornish waiting for his turn on the sideline. John White out there going to work.
White only 1 start against Calgary, 11 carries, 41 yards. 1st down. And this time Riley keeps it and gets outside. Riley can move a little bit on that sore foot.
And that's what it leads to, and that's why it's tough to defend. When John White has some success running, then they go to play action, and they get the running ability of Mike Riley outside and influencing the defense. Doesn't look like he's limping on it. Well, pretty good speed and power to get to that 1st down marker.
Overran the angle of Duron Mayo to get to the 1st down stick. Gain of 10, and the Eskimos have moved near midfield. 1st down at the Edmonton 54. 4 receivers to the wide side. And they'll swing it that way. Kendall Lawrence has got it with blocking into Calgary territory.
When he came in the semifinal, Mike Riley threw a lot of these type of passes, those bubble screens to the outside. Sometimes Kendall Lawrence used the Darius Bowman in his as well. It got him a little bit more comfortable pushing off that bad foot. Didn't throw the ball deep. We'll watch to see if the foot affects him on the deep throws.
9 yards and a sneak here for another Eskimo 1st down. Riley taking a shot. At the bottom of the pile is Duron Mayo. Tried to work him over a little bit. And
there's the Battle of Alberta. Little John at each other.
Take you back to the old Alondra Johnson days.
Well, Duron Mayo will factor in a big way for Calgary defensively. He and Juwan Simpson have got to try and contain John White in the combination of White and Riley running the ball.
Eskimos with only 230 yards Stampeders offense last week against the Rough Riders, moving the football here late to the opening quarter. Take the sweep to Bowman, the counter the other way, snuffed out Junior Turner, Sean Lemon, who led that Calgary defense this year, their top defensive player, with 13 sacks.
Misdirection plays like this are designed to try and fool a defensive end and have him chase. Well, Lemon doesn't chase. Lemon doesn't chase. He just steps up, shuts the door on this play, slow developing, and he is right there to shut it down.
So loss of 3, 2nd and 13 as Riley Park signals the 9th play of the drive for the Eskimos. Take the draw, the pass is incomplete. Intended for Lawrence. Juwan Simpson, the middle linebacker, on the scene for Calgary.
Yes, sir. He tracked that play down in a hurry. That's a little film study. That's having the bye, first place, best record in the Canadian Football League, giving you that opportunity to do a lot of film study, and he just tracks Kendall Lawrence out of the backfield. It's his man is right there. Even if he catches that, he turns around and gets tackled.
O'Neill booting that out of bounds. Let's see where they mark it. And will it make the 20-yard line? It's getting close, just inside the 20 to avoid the penalty at the 19. Just a 29-yard punt on the final play of the opening quarter. Calgary with the lone touchdown, a 46-yard strike from Bo Levi Mitchell to Markway McDaniel, which are advantage Edmonton, but one big Calgary play.
Well, you know the Edmonton Eskimos have a game plan, at least it's working early on, to stop the run. And John Cornish, he has 6 yards. Calgary lost 5, so they only have 1 yard rushing in that first quarter. But typical of the Calgary Stampeders, Chris, they find other ways. Markway McDaniel with that big touchdown catch.
And we heard Edmonton talk about taking away corners, making Calgary beat them another way, and Markway McDaniel does that in the opening quarter.
Well, they're going to lean on the arm of Bo Levi Mitchell. Nice throw to Markway McDaniel. Now, can he continue with that as the game goes on?
Well, we also saw that Mike Riley has some mobility.
Right and right, 65 eligible, 40 front.
On that last Edmonton drive, but now it's Calgary football. And Mitchell's pass batted down, and that has been a theme for Edmonton this year. 19 knockdowns from their front 4 and front 7 group this season.
What a great start to his career for Bo Levi Mitchell, 15-2, which ties the great Jackie Parker of the Edmonton Eskimos for the best start for a quarterback in CFL history. But he'll be the first to tell you, it's about what you do in the playoffs, and that's what's been haunting this Calgary Stampeder football team for a few years now.
2nd and 10, they show pressure. Here they come. Mitchell downfield, incomplete. The flag flies. Marcel Young up against Nick Lewis. And Young got tangled up as the ball was arriving. And wants Chris Jones to challenge.
Real good move at the line of scrimmage by Nick Lewis to get open initially.
Offside. Edmonton, number 90. That penalty is declined. Pass interference. Edmonton, number 23. Point of foul. Automatic first down.
So Sewell offside, not the key infraction on the play.
Real good swim move at the line of scrimmage by Nick Lewis. Again, working on Marcel Young. Swims around him, gets him behind him. Now Young has to catch up, gets his hands on him. Almost looked like he runs over him. No challenge flag from Chris Jones.
Went to the head coach, and the coach seemed to react that it was a challenge he wouldn't win. Mitchell airing it out downfield. Caught! Great catch. Charbonneau Campo dragged down by Koshi Mwamba. There is a flag in the Eskimo secondary. And Bo Levi Mitchell slow to get up. Another flag back in the Stampeder backfield. A 60-yard strike from Bo Levi Mitchell to Simo Charbonneau-Campo.
This is what the Calgary Stampeders are going to have to do if Edmonton loads the box like they did in the semifinal. Take some shots deep. And Bo Levi Mitchell, back-to-back throws. He took a hit on this last play, but what a catch by Charbonneau-Campo.
Pass interference. Edmonton, number 6. That penalty's declined. Major foul. Roughing the passer. Edmonton, 41. Half the distance to the goal. First down, Calgary.
There's a major flag against Odell Willis.
Charbonneau-Campo is going to run that straight go route. And what a catch over the shoulder for the Canadian receiver. Just 13 catches in the regular season, but this is a beauty. Bo Levi Mitchell drops it in. He takes a hit. Nick Lewis took exception to that hit and got up quickly. It was Odell Willis coming off the edge who, in the opinion of the officials, could have avoided that contact.
13 catches during the year for Charbonneau-Campo, 5 against Edmonton. First and goal. John Cornish straight ahead and is stopped after a yard, maybe 2.
Well, we talked a lot about Cornish. He is on the marquee, and he did lead the league. But Dave Dickinson has had to game plan 9 times in the regular season when he wasn't available. And that's what we're seeing as they adapt.
Second and goal. Bo Levi Mitchell on his own, and it's a touchdown. Canadian Football League playoff start.
Little second effort gets that extra push on Aaron Grimes.
Dolphins during the regular season would see Drew Tate in that situation. They leave Mitchell in, and he caps a 5-play, 91-yard drive.
And Bo Levi Mitchell gets a pre-snap read because he can see man-to-man across the board, including press coverage on the edges, on the corners for the Edmonton Eskimos. When he sees the one-on-one matchup, pretty good coverage here, but Bo Levi Mitchell put it up there and let his receiver go after it. And boy, does Charbonneau-Campo come up with a beauty catch over the shoulder.
Kimball Waltz on the return for Edmonton, dancing up to the 35-yard line. Chris Jones told us yesterday a 15-yard play against us is an explosive play. Well, Bo Levi Mitchell's produced a 46 and 60-yard play here in the first half to blow up that defense.
Well, he's a defensive genius, Chris Jones, so we'll see how he adjusts as this game goes on. Does he go to some more zones in the back end and try and avoid some of the one-on-one matchup?
Big possession for Edmonton. Starts at the Eskimo 35 with John White off the left side. Close to 4.
By no means should Edmonton start to change their offensive game plan. Continue with involving John White, success on first down. Try and put Mike Riley in manageable situations. Stephen McAdoo knows how to use both those guys effectively. Working in tandem, and we haven't talked about it, Darius Bowman, but for the first pass from Mike Riley of this game.
Fred Stanford had a catch last week. And Bennett is dropped at the 30-yard line. 4 sacks during the regular season, including 1 against the Eskimos. Jawan Simpson gets in the ear for the Edmonton quarterback.
That's a good catch by Fred Bennett. alongside Jamar Wall. 10 interceptions on the season. That's the beauty. Up over the top, an overthrown ball because Mike Riley was getting hit as he released it.
First time we ever saw Fred Bennett preseason game between these two teams. He had 2 interceptions and another call back.
Western All-Star 2014. Jarius Jackson, the quarterback coach, can work with Mike Riley, and next time they get out there.
Eskimo defense now needs a big play. Both Levi Mitchell trying to make a big play, and he does! Oh no, just dropped. It looked like McDaniel had it in the end zone.
Boy, it was close, but Aaron Grimes stuck with it. He was in the hip pocket of Marquay McDaniel on this corner route, and he just stuck with it because McDaniel had one hand on this ball. Looked like he was going to make the spectacular one-handed catch. Tons of pressure from the Edmonton Eskimos. They're sticking with this aggressive defensive style and sticking with the man-to-man coverage on these receivers. Marquay McDaniel, almost a spectacular one for a second.
2nd and 10. Handed off to Cornish. Sheds one tackle, but now brought down. So they have stopped John Cornish, but have not had a full answer yet for the passing of Bo Levi Mitchell.
Rene Curran, the middle linebacker, is going to switch in and out with J.C. Sherritt. He said to me yesterday, time to play big boy football. When it comes to John Cornish, it is a linebacker's dream to play against the best in the business and try and stop the run. Playing a little big boy football against Cornish, but Calgary finds other ways.
Rene Paredes has missed, so they'll only get 1 off the Bennett interception. And it's been a tough season for Paredes. 73.3% in the regular season, and a miss here. 2 touchdown Calgary lead. The Alberta rivals, the Eskimos, have won 11. Stamps 10, their last meeting 2011 in the Western Semi. Won by the Eskimos 33-19, but Calgary's won 11 straight meetings. And up here, Paris Jackson has the catch. He's bounced out at the Calgary bench. About 7 for the former Lion.
The first play of the game, Mike Riley took a shot down the field to Darius Bowman. It was incomplete. And the matchup that has been created here this afternoon is Bowman on Brandon Smith, the short side halfback for the Calgary Stampeders. Brandon Smith, of course, 85 tackles on the season, led the Calgary Stampeders. He's been tracking. Now they're going to try and move him around.
No front stamps either. Another tip pass at the line. Incomplete. Junior Turner had a strong year as a reserve defensive lineman pressed into duty with so many injuries.
See, just to the left of your screen, you saw number 4, Darius Bowman. Here he comes across the field there in motion. They're trying to move him around, get him away from that matchup on Brandon Smith. He was the intended target. Didn't work because Junior Turner was there. See if they can get a Darius Bowman open.
Cunningham at the Calgary 26. 42-yard punt. The cover team does another good job. Well, they said he would not be affected by the size of the moment. Bo Levi Mitchell off to a hot start.
Well, with Sean Lemon and Eric Norwood of the Hamilton Tiger Cats, congratulations to the Ticats. Punch their ticket to the Grey Cup.
Eskimos show pressure. Pass is incomplete. Intended for Joe West. Well, he has done everything you could hope for early in his regular season career, but he knows he'll be judged on his record in the playoffs.
Ultimately, all in all, you're going to be judged in how you play in the playoffs. You can have whatever regular season record you want, but it matters what you do in the playoffs, and that's how you're remembered. So, I do take that to heart. I know that it is my first time to get in there and be that guy, and I'm going to take advantage of it.
Here's John Cornish getting away, breaking tackles, launches and into the open field. Anybody going to catch him? What a run by John Cornish. Touchdown.
Shovel pass, but John Cornish does all the heavy lifting on this one.
He told us yesterday he has a variety of moves that he has named in his repertoire. We might have seen a couple of new ones there. Well, they stopped him on the ground, but as you mentioned, that is a touchdown catch for John Cornish.
One block needed by Spencer Wilson to spring this. And once John Cornish got that block, got the ball in his hands, Cornish starts out in the backfield here. And watch when he gets this one block he needs. It's going to be on Odell Willis on the seal right there. Now he's got that one block. He's got a one-on-one with Dion Lacey. The linebacker stepping up, rush in. He makes him miss, protects the football at the same time, bounces off a couple of tacklers, and away he goes.
One of those, the Rookie of the Year candidate Dexter McCoyle, and Levi Mitchell, 4 completions for 196 yards. And again, that little shovel considered a pass, and then John Cornish did the rest. Those two are going to have to share the marquee.
That was surprising.
Surprising is one way to describe it. Everything going Calgary's way right now. They contain Kendall Lawrence.
I was surprised. I wasn't surprised anybody else. I was like, only person I saw was our own players. I'll take that, though.
I'll tell you what, when as good as John Cornish is, that's what you see. You see your own blocking, you see openings, and you go. You don't see defenders. What was it, Gretzky, who said, I don't see the goalie, I just see the open areas of the net.
Hole even deeper now. John White looking for a hole and can't find one against Jawan Simpson and that Calgary defense. Longest catch of the year for John Cornish was 28 yards until that 78-yard run.
Riley's got to get some first downs, give his defense a bit of a rest, let them regroup on the sideline, and try and get in a little bit of a rhythm of his own, stop this momentum. It's a big down.
Second and 7. Rush on, catch made. Bowman, good second effort to get the first down up at the 40.
Deron Mayo's going to try it and send some extra pressure from the linebacking core, but as we mentioned off the top, John White does not back down from pass protection. He loves to step up. He makes that block right here. That gives Riley a chance to get it out of his hands, and Darius Bowman does the rest.
First down, they swing it to Lawrence. Trying to get outside, tripped up, it looked like in behind that blocking convoy of Coehorn, Bailey, and Bowman, and it's only 2.
Calgary Stampeders swept the Edmonton Eskimos 3 straight games this year, and Chris Jones still trying to find how to put the puzzle together. How do they beat the Calgary Stampeders? They've got some work to do now.
Team that doesn't give up very many big plays has given up a bunch in this first half. 2nd and 8. Riley time throws incomplete. Unable to hook up with the Medicine Hat native Nate Kuhorn, former University of Calgary Dino.
One first down, not really enough for Mike Riley in that offense, and he knows it.
So Hugh O'Neill getting set for his 6th punt of the game. Cunningham from his 23. 45-yard boot by O'Neill. And Cunningham down at the 25. Let's check in with Farhan Lalji.
Guys, we know that John Cornish went to the University of Kansas. That's the same school as Gale Sayers, the legendary NFL running back. But he says it wasn't until this summer when he actually had a chance to evaluate some of Sayers' moves, and he's using some of that in his game. He goes back to the game earlier this season against Toronto on a 72-yard touchdown run with a move he calls the Gale, which is basically about using your peripheral vision when you see what's in front of you, but also see what's beside you and cut off of that. He's actually got a list of moves he's got written down on paper. There are 10 moves on it. Some of them are called the vault, others are called the chicken wing, but he's managing to react to all of those at a split second and use them in his repertoire.
I think we got at least 2 or 3 on that 78-yarder. Matt Walter in now at the running back spot. The Calgary Dino, who has been pressed into service when John Cornish has been hurt a couple of times this year.
Well, the Western All-Star certainly is a guy who likes to think through the game. I mean, he's philosophical. He looks into the history of the game. He studied Gale Sayers, as Farhan mentioned. He actually writes down those moves. Hard to imagine that he's thinking about them as he's carrying the football. You think he'd just be reacting, but
you don't often see Walter and Cornish in the backfield together. One pump from Mitchell, and now underneath, and that play well read. Otha Foster with a quick stop on Joe West. And it's a 2-and-out for Calgary.
I said the Edmonton last drive with 1 first down wasn't enough. Edmonton fans, I'm sure, will agree with that, but it did give the defense a little bit of a rest, a chance to regroup, and they get the 2-and-out.
And Chris Jones' crew needs points on this next possession with under 5 to go in the opening half. 5 2-and-outs, but 4 big plays for the Calgary offense. Lawrence lets it hit the ground. And he'll be gang tackled just beyond the 30. Let's go back to the sidelines here again. Sarah Orleski.
Well, Chris Jones likes to pick the brains of people that have been very successful, whether it be in football or outside of the game, to find out how they've become a winning person in whatever field they're in. Well, he told me that he went down actually and spoke with Bill Parcells this summer in Jupiter, Florida, spent about 3 or 4 hours with the legendary coach, asked him a bunch of questions, says that he even spoke to him last week to get advice as to what to do in cold weather games, and although he hasn't implemented all of Bill's suggestions or ideas, he said that there have been a number of things that he's used this year that came from the advice of Bill Parcells.
There's a 3rd pass batted down in this first half. Sean Lemon with the knockdown. Well, Chris Jones goes to the right source as a high school basketball coach. He went to Rick Pitino to get advice.
Well, that's just smart. I mean, that's just trying to figure out different ways to get that winning edge. And right now, they got to figure a way to cut down these defensive ends. And the way you do that is when they try and jump like that, hit them right in the chest.
Sean Lemon, who was cut by the Eskimos, having a big day. Riley out of the pocket, throwing, and he's got Coleman in front of the Eskimo bench for a first down.
And at the end of that play, saw just a little bit of a limp. Now, we saw Riley run a couple of times, but I think he's hesitating to run. When he does it, and he did it throughout the regular season, and had his over 600 yards rushing, such an important part of his game, there was no hesitation in it. This time he's got 3-man pressure, so this is when he could run and break it down. Finally gets out there, then a little bit of a limp after as he tries to regroup.
Needed that first down and goes back to Bowman and a drop pass for the top receiver in the league this year.
He'll point to himself, and my bad is he goes back to the huddle and tried to run before he caught that one.
Last touchdown for Bowman mid-September against Calgary. Early September, excuse me, the Labor Day rematch.
Both big games in those back-to-backs for Bowman, and Riley wasn't the starting quarterback in either of them.
Three-man front for Calgary, 2nd and 10 for Edmonton. Pressure on, Junior Turner. For Riley, escapes. Tried to outrun it, he can't do it. Drop the ball, and he'll scoop it back up. But it is the sack, and Juwan Simpson was the man who tripped up Riley, who now is hobbling a little bit more.
Yeah, and I'm going to show you two guys, Juwan Simpson and Lynjay Shell. I think Riley thought he might get the outside to his right. There's Simpson who's going to track him down. Watch Lynjay Shell sneak in here from the linebacking.
Illegal contact on the receiver. Calgary, number 12. 10-yard penalty. First down, Edmonton.
See how Shell got contained. I think Riley thought he had an escape route off to his right. And then he sees that he doesn't have it, gets flushed the opposite direction. Juwan Simpson tracks him down.
They called Simpson's number on a illegal contact on the receiver.
No.
Not sure they had the right number, but it is a penalty that keeps Riley on the field.
But I didn't see that second gear, that speed that we've seen from Mike Riley running.
You know, he was guarded about the injury yesterday, but did reveal that there's more than one issue in the foot as well. Time here, the out, and nearly picked. Buddy Jackson prowling on the corner. As they get the 3-minute warning here at McMahon, where everything's gone right for the Stamps in the first half.
That's coming up in a few minutes. Chris, Glenn.
Thank you, Rod. And again, congratulations to the Ticats. 2nd and 10 here. Riley, Bowman, catch, first down. Colored at the 36-yard line. Big hit from the safety, Josh Bell. By the way, the penalty we've had confirmed from the field was not against Juwan Simpson, but Keon Raymond. But there is Riley, voted by his peers the toughest player in the league, trying to tough it out here in the first half.
Takes a hit from Quinn Smith, who gets a free rush lane, and that's a hard one right in the chin.
Rookie from Concordia. Riley time, gonna take a shot. Bowman went up, couldn't bring it down. Coverage there again by Buddy Jackson, whose number we've called a number of times here in the first half.
Calgary secondary playing pretty well, but the Edmonton offense is now trying to get the football more to their number 1 receiver, Darius Bowman, and that may be the first play that I've seen Fred Stamps on the field beside him, working in tandem. He's been on the sideline. This may be a way to loosen up the Calgary secondary a little bit.
He goes off along with Calvin McCarty. 8th play of the drive. And the Eskimos.
Timeout. Edmonton.
Will take the timeout.
Very similar situation to Nick Lewis on the Calgary sideline. Fred Stamps, sort of a forgotten man in the offense over the back half of the season. Darius Bowman has been playing his spot all year. The perennial 1,000-yard receiver, been sort of an afterthought in the offense. He's 100% healthy. Told me yesterday he wants to continue his career. Feels like he's got a lot of football left in him. They possibly work him in tandem with the Darius Bowman in this game in the second half. Maybe they can loosen up the secondary for the Stamps.
496 career catches, just under 8,000 yards, but a quiet year for Stamps. 8 catches, though, against the Stampeders this season. 2nd and 10. Juwan Simpson blitzing. Riley has time, taking a shot. Darius Bowman can't make the catch. And they continue the matchup against Buddy Jackson, who's winning the matchup for Calgary.
Made a great tackle, Buddy Jackson, out of the gate in the first series against the Edmonton offense and forced them to punt. They've tested him deep now a couple of times in this second quarter, and he's been there in great position. Composure when the ball arrives. He's got his eye first on Riley, then he locks quickly back on his receiver, and that's Darius Bowman, the leading receiver in the CFL this year. Look at him in that hip pocket, times his jump, and gets the knockdown.
So the field goal unit comes on. Hugh O'Neill to attempt a 42-yarder, unless Chris Jones has something on. And they're just going to make an adjustment to the clock. 1:51 is the correct time. I was just going to say that he's probably thinking kick a field goal, get a 2-and-out, and maybe get a chance to put another offensive drive together before the end of the first half to try and salvage something.
And conventional wisdom says take the points here and try and stop a little of this Calgary momentum.
Although 3 touchdowns down, you might be tempted to do something. O'Neill nails it. Well, next Sunday, the Hamilton Ticats will kick off against the winner of this team in the 102nd Grey Cup. Extended pregame coverage begins at 1 Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific, and at 6 Eastern, 3 Pacific. Countdown to kickoff on TSN from beautiful BC. Former Lion Mike Riley's got a lot of work to do to get back there. And he does not look comfortable, does he?
No, he doesn't. And that last break, he went right to the sideline. He's trying to keep that foot loose and walk around, try and walk it off. But he talked to the training staff immediately. Matt Nichols, right in front of him, has not put on the helmet and started to warm up yet. We'll see what they do in the second half as Riley gets on that stationary bike trying to stay loose.
Well, that tackle by Jawan Simpson as he tracked him down was right on those feet to the injured right foot. O'Neill kicks it short. It'll be fielded by Cunningham well, and he'll get wrestled out around the 45.
Meanwhile, even though he's had a couple of throws in playoff games in the postseason, this was his first start. 50%, but 199 yards. Now his completion percentage is down a little bit because the Edmonton defense has dictated that he's got to take some shots deep.
I like his average yards per completion.
Yeah, pretty good. 199 yards, on pace for 400. There's his offensive coordinator, former star quarterback Dave Dickinson. 3 big plays. When you play against aggressive man-to-man defense, you got to take your shots.
And up inside, and Eskimos defense was blitzing. Randy Curran there to wrestle corners down.
Completion percentage goes down. Of course, he had the big shovel pass to John Cornish that turned into a great run by the leading running back in the league.
So if you're just tuning in and we tell you John Cornish has rushed 5 times for 10 yards, you might think, boy, the Eskimos have really held this offense in check.
Big play on the shovel pass.
78-yard touchdown on that. And as you saw the stat line for Levi Mitchell, 199 yards passing. Trying to add to it here. Joe West is loose and has a first down. Bumped out by Otha Foster at the Edmonton 49.
And now the young quarterback is showing a little of his composure. 4-man pressure this time from the Edmonton Eskimos up front. They've got those 4 guys, and this time they decide, well, let's play a little more zone. See if the young quarterback can be patient, throw it underneath, and move the sticks that way. And Levi Mitchell gets that done as well.
From the strange stat department, that's the first second down conversion by Calgary in this opening half. First down, Mitchell the other way. Cornish out of the backfield. And he's going to run down inside the 20. So John Cornish, just 133 yards receiving this season, has another big pickup. And he is over 100 yards receiving today with 30 on that catch.
Yeah, they're going to get him out of the backfield early, and this is just a bust by the Edmonton Eskimos. They're sending the blitz, the safety. Rabakamba goes up the middle on this one, and no one picks up John Cornish out of the backfield. He's got nothing but daylight out there.
First down, Calgary, Edmonton 18. Mitchell into the end zone. Touchdown, Eric Rogers. Third touchdown pass of the first half for Bo Levi Mitchell.
Our Hall of Fame quarterback after the Hamilton-Montreal game said that he saw a real difference in Hamilton with the jump in their step and how that bye to the final helped them. I'm seeing the same thing from the Calgary Stampeders. They just look like they've got a different level. It's a little bit faster speed on the field than this Edmonton Eskimo team in the first half.
Calgary elected to go with Rogers instead of Mo Price. Played the last 2 games of the regular season, had a couple of touchdowns, and now has a playoff major score. Been a stampede here in this first half. You know, Mitchell said yesterday, the thing I like about Rogers is he's like a basketball player, that he's not as big and strong as some of the receivers, but knows how to box out. You get a little of it here, don't you?
He doesn't run out of bounds like my arrow did, but he gives you a little out move here. This is on Otha Foster, and then you're right. And then he's going to just trust him at the top end of the route to make the play. He's got the protection he needs. He's got a throwing lane. That #1 offensive line in the league, only allowing 26 sacks all season long, gives Mitchell all kinds of time to throw that one, but he loves the size of Eric Rogers, and he uses it. Throws it up against pretty good coverage and expects his receiver to come down with it, and that's exactly what Rogers does.
19 has had 19 different receivers this year. And Rogers, one of the latest, as John Hufnagel has been the king of finding the next man up for Calgary this year.
Well, you mentioned it. When Marquay McDaniel is the leading receiver at 11, and no other Calgary receiver in the top 20, and yet they've got a lot of great weapons.
Kendall Lawrence backtracking and running himself into the ground. Back inside the 25 with 33 seconds for Edmonton to try and salvage something from this first half, but one would expect we might see Matt Nichols in the second half.
That just does not look good. It's tough for Mike Riley even to get back to the huddle. Matt Nichols, who's now got his helmet on, and it'll be the end of this first half. It'll be the second half. We see them, but see if there's anything they can do. They're just going to get out of this half, the Edmonton Eskimos, and go regroup.
Three straight losses this year in the regular season. As mentioned, 11 consecutive Stampeder wins over the Eskimos.
This has been a courageous effort, and last week in the semifinal, all year long, for Mike Riley and how tough he is. But his body language says it all right now. And he, you know, I'll be surprised if we don't see Matt Nichols in the second half.
Have to take one more knee. And again, it was supposed to be a healthier Mike Riley this week. Last week he was a doubtful starter. There was no question he was going to get this start. And the wear and tear of the first half and that tenacious Calgary defense. 30 minutes in the books, and the Western Final is all Calgary through 2 quarters of play. Bo Levi Mitchell's averaged 33 yards completion, 3 touchdowns, and a 29-4 lead at the half.
Well, this is why the Stamps were 15-3 and 3-0 against the Eskimos. Dominant first half. Highlights and reaction from Hamilton ahead, plus the coach Paul LaPolice, first Rod Smith and the Super Friends.
All right.
Plus the coach Paul LaPolice, first Rod Smith and the Super Friends.
All right, James. Well, yeah, you know, they had to stop John Cornish one way in the running game, but they couldn't stop the receiver in the first half. John Cornish and other big plays as well. Back of the panel, Jock Climbing, Matt Dunnigan, and Milt Stiegel and Chris Schultz. And yes, that they changed their strategy, Matty, defensively, and they had to do it because of what Cornish can do to them, but they paid the price in other ways.
Absolutely, but it's not much of a change for Chris Jones' style of defense to pressure an offense and play a lot of man-to-man, but they committed a lot of people to the box trying to take Cornish out. You heard what John said. He said, hey, simply, Dave Dickinson, that he's put together a plan where everything is at our fingertips. And Bo Levi's going to work. He looks off the free safety, hits Marquay McDaniel in one-on-one coverage. You're getting those matchups on the outside. Charbonneau, another big play, down the sidelines in one-on-one coverage. He actually had Rodgers on the other side of the field here. It's pick and choose. I don't care if you're a veteran quarterback or inexperienced quarterback. In this situation, Chris, you have one-on-one opportunities. It's simply pitch and catch, and it's a quarterback's dream. Bo Levi, he's in his heyday right now.
It's the Bo Levi Mitchell show. It's the accuracy show. I'll go back to June of this year when it was either Drew Tate or Bo Levi Mitchell, and the competition was tough. John Hufnagel made the decision, went with Mitchell, and that was the right decision. But this is what I admire. It's not like Chris Jones hasn't tried. Bang! That's about as hard as you can get hit. And he's shaking up on that play, and what happens later on? No big deal. Shakes it off, throws another accurate football, hits the receiver all the way in for a touchdown. His ability to just dismiss the aggressiveness of the defense has made the difference in this game. This is a young quarterback that's having an outstanding deep ball game, and he's going to be here for a while, Milk.
Both of you guys brought up points about how well the Stampeders have played. I want to bring up a point and talk about how not well the Eskimos have played. We're talking about John Cornish. I understand he's a very special running back, and so far, up to this play, the Eskimos were doing a great job, and they were doing a great job because they were tackling. But on this play, for some reason, they decided not to tackle, and it's 4 missed tackles. Don't get me wrong, John Cornish is a great running back and maybe the best player in this league, but you can't allow him to miss that many tackles and think you're going to tackle. There's no arm tackling John Cornish. You have to put your shoulder into him. Yeah, you stopped him in the run game, and that was basically a run, but you have to tackle John Cornish, because if you don't, that's exactly what's going to happen, John.
So now we've been talking about how this seems to be 2 straight games with a team with a bye week just looks fresher. Tackling is one example of that. Run game's another. A run game, when your run game is going, it's because your hogs up front are moving guys out of the way. And the Edmonton Eskimos have really relied heavily on their run game in the last few weeks with John White. It just hasn't been there in this game. And I think that has completely thrown the Eskimos off. The run game has become part of their identity. John White has had 6-7 games over 90 yards this year, and all of a sudden, he's finding himself no room. And again, I say that is a function of how much energy you've got up front, because you've got to have guys who can move other guys. You look at that last touchdown by Calgary. Mitchell had all day to throw. The D lineman almost didn't even get off the line of scrimmage. These guys have no energy right now.
The Stampeders have been hearing all week, including from us, about how they have failed in recent years to win these big games. This looks like a very different team. 7 turnovers, James, last year in the Western Final against Saskatchewan, and they were out of it early in the first half. It's a completely different story so far.
On both sides of the ball, Rod, absolute dominance. First playoff start for Bo Levi Mitchell, and so much for experience. 3 TDs passing, 1 rushing, and a 25-point halftime lead. If you told the Eskimos they would have held John Cornish to practically nothing rushing in the first half, they would have thought they'd be leading comfortably. Instead, a bunch of long TDs, Cornish 100-plus receiving, and just a dominant performance, 274 yards through the air. Let's hear from John Cornish with Farhan Lalji.
John, you told us about all those moves, the Gale, the chicken wing. What move was that on the long touchdown reception?
You know, I think there was one move at the start, but then I saw Eric Rogers downfield. I just ran towards him, and he managed to get in the way of these other guys. So I guess it was a gale. I mean, I was just running for my life. I thought I was going to get tackled at some point. I was surprised when I got the end zone.
You had 133 yards receiving all season. You're over 100 in that half. How have you been able to get open in the passing game?
Well, that's exactly what I said yesterday. I mean, if Chris Jones really wants to completely stop the run, we have adaptations for that. So we've been, Bo's been using check down, and he flicked one to me for the touchdown, and that's those are the adaptations that we have for that kind of stuff. So like I said, Dave set up a game plan that is ready for all contingencies.
Thanks, Sean.
Thanks, guys.
He looks genuinely shocked that he was able to break that long touchdown. Here's Paul Appolice in the GMC coach's playbook. Dominant offensively and a defense that really seemed to rattle Mike Riley. A lot of knockdowns, some good tight coverage on the corners. How are they able to dominate?
Yeah, Mike Riley 10 for 21, so just over 70 yards passing. Not a great day for him, and his day may be done. This Calgary defense all year long, they may give up some yardage, but they're one of the best in not giving up points. They're second best in the CFL, giving the fewest yardage. But watch what they do. They're all over the receivers. I love how they break on the football to make plays downfield. They're knocking balls down. The Edmonton Eskimos just plainly can't get in any rhythm. And when you can't get in rhythm in two-down football, it's very difficult to move the field. So they have to be in a situation where they can obviously string some first downs together.
All right, break down that one play you wanted to.
Yeah, let's talk about this. The big key to kind of blow this game open the first quarter was we have a situation where they bring three rushers off the edge from the three down linemen. Calgary's playing a 3-4 defense, so there's the two inside linebackers. Lynn J. Shell, watch what he does off the edge. So he comes, John White's in a single with him. John White gets overextended. Shell gets in there, is able to make a play on Riley as he's releasing the ball. Now, you're in zone coverage, so you got DBs watching the ball, so all of a sudden Bennett gets to be able to make a great play to put them in scoring range. They give up a touchdown right after that, James. So the defense, I know there's been some big plays offensively, but Rich Sluber has done a great job with his defense in this first half.
And we always talk about halftime adjustments. I don't know how you adjust to that kind of destruction in the first half from Calgary. John Cornish with a massive receiving half, best of his career, and the Stamps in control.
Big play Calgary offense has led to a big first half lead, 29-4 as we get set for the second half of the West Final. But first to the sideline, Sarah Orleski with Mike Riley.
Mike, 10 of 21 for 74 yards in that first half. How would you describe your comfort level back there?
Oh yeah, I don't care about the stats. I just think that we got out-physicaled out there, and we made too many mistakes, at every single position. So, they're playing a lot better football than us right now, but luckily, football game is two halves, not just one.
The first step this offense needs to do to get something going.
We just got to sustain the drive. We got to execute on first down instead of second and long, and string to get us a first down and put some points on. We got to help our defense out.
You talked about your foot leading up to this week, but has it affected your mobility out there?
I think I got caught from behind on one that I more than likely wouldn't have before, but that's not an excuse. You got to play football if you're on the field, and I've been getting it done right now, so I got to play better.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
So underway with the second half kickoff. The Eskimos get the football. Kendall Lawrence on the return, and Keenan McDougal grabs him and brings him down at the 27-yard line. Take a look at what happened to Mike Riley in the opening 30 minutes.
Well, no question the injury has slowed him. He talked about getting caught from behind. That was his very first run, looked pretty good, but as the game has gone on and he's taken some hits, it's starting to affect him more, and he's taken some big ones. And this is the play he got caught from behind by Juwan Simpson, had just 3 carries for 14 yards, very un-Riley-like.
Handed off to John White. Up across the 30 to the 33. In the Labor Day rematch, they trailed by 21. They rallied to within 7 and had the football lead in that game with a chance to tie. So they need that kind of second half today.
Chris, this is the type of play that on this zone read or riding the side, like I like to call it, if Riley's not pressing the edge and making the Calgary defense respect that, then John White's got some tough running in the middle.
2nd and 4. 4-man rush over the middle. Devin Bailey, and he's in Juwan Simpson's neighborhood.
Well, he stepped up. Juwan Simpson, in his last Western final last year, just 3 tackles. I'm sure that's bothered him for some time, and after 15 wins in the regular season, the former defensive captain for Alabama, has had himself a good game already.
One of that core of 7 in the lineup for Calgary that were on the 2008 Grey Cup winning team. A 2-and-out to start the second half for Edmonton. Cunningham fields that, and he'll get swarmed just across the 40. So Calgary good field position to start the second half.
Hey, Nick, I saw your block on that shit.
If there was any doubt about how good number 19 is, he certainly made a statement in that first half. He has the chance to be really the face of the league if in the next few years, the way he has developed this year.
There are some great young quarterbacks. Zach Collaros will be in the Grey Cup this year again. Another young guy just finding his way, but what a great first half for Bo Levi Mitchell. Yeah, you're looking at a future star, folks.
John Cornish on the ground, skips to the right side, and Dion Lacey gets over there to bring him down with some help from Alonzo Lawrence. It's a pickup of 5 for Cornish.
And, you know, he's working well in combination with his offensive coordinator. I like what the panel guy said at halftime about how Dave Dickinson has found different ways to get it done. If he doesn't have Cornish in the lineup, he goes to Bo Levi Mitchell, works in the passing game. He's gone to quick passing game. In this one, the first half, the way that Chris Jones played defensively, he had to take some shots deep. So they did that and had success with it.
5 for Cornish, 2nd and 5. Here comes the heat. Mitchell escapes, gets rid of it. Look, Patrick Watkins unloads on Eric Rogers. They'll throw a flag on the play. And Watkins wants to know why.
You know, Patrick Watkins got an argument here. It looked like to me he tried to get his head out of the hit and just lead with his shoulder.
Major foul, unnecessary roughness. Edmonton, number 9, 15 yards, automatic first down.
First of all, amazing that Bo Levi Mitchell is going to avoid pressure here and spin out of this because Alonzo Lawrence has him in the backfield for a sack. So he gets outside. Now he's getting it out there to Eric Rogers. And that was just lead with the elbow and the shoulder of Patrick. I mean, unless he leads with the top of his helmet or the crown of his helmet, then it becomes unnecessary roughness. I'm not sure about that one.
Yeah, one of the most physical defenders in the league. Costly 15 yards. Mitchell has time, looking again for Rogers, and almost intercepted. Good recovery defensively by the other corner, Othel Foster.
You know, the secondary for Edmonton has not been in that bad a position throughout the first half of this game. They were in pretty good coverage. They just lost the battle for the football when it arrived with the Calgary receivers. But second half, Othel Foster comes up with one.
Last week, 5 interceptions, 7 sacks for that Edmonton Eskimo defense. And they'll have to make their share of big plays in the second half if the green and gold are going to get back in it. 2nd and 10, pressure on, and an open man, and there's Sherman Ocampo. Got a couple extra after contact and has the first down, so that's his second catch. He made an enormous grab another first down.
A nice changeup by Chris Jones. He's going to bring Wabakamba down here, the safety, but then he puts Dexter McCoy, the linebacker, so it's man-to-man, but they have a man in the middle. So Bo Levi Mitchell says, well, I'm not going to go after the middle because it's not zero coverage, it's one-on-one coverage, so we go with the rub player, the pick, and a little push out here to Charbonneau. That's just great pre-snap read by Bo Levi Mitchell.
Now Matt Walter stopped at the 30-yard line. 4 for the backup running back.
That is two great offensive and defensive minds going head-to-head as Dave Dickinson tries to continue to find ways to beat the Chris Jones different look every play defense.
Outstanding year as a head coach for Chris Jones, and I think everybody feels like Dave Dickinson's the next great head coach. Whenever that happens, he is the associate head coach in Calgary and the head coach in waiting. 2nd and 6. Going to take another shot for Rodgers. He's got it into the end zone. Touchdown. And they've got another star receiver. And Bo Levi Mitchell has 4 touchdown passes.
Chris Jones can't draw up a better defense, and Ortha Foster can't be in better position. I mean, Foster is one-on-one here on Eric Rodgers, and he's right in his hip. But that's that jumping ability, the playmaking ability, like ripping down a rebound in basketball, that Mitchell told us yesterday and why he likes Rodgers. Trusting his receivers here this afternoon.
Bo Levi Mitchell goes over 300 on the day. Eric Rodgers has hit pay dirt twice.
You know, sometimes you draw them up and you get a man open because there's a bust in the coverage. I've only seen that happen once in this game so far for the Edmonton Eskimos. That was that little flat pass to John Cornish. But outside of that, Mitchell's just trusting his receivers. And he's saying, you know, go win the battle for me, and they have been more than not.
Extra point for Paredes. As the Stampeders poured on, and Bo Levi Mitchell puts on a show in the West Final.
A lot of credit to these Calgary receivers, but how about Eastern Washington? Bo Levi Mitchell, back shoulder throw here to Eric Rodgers. He throws it out in front here, and his placement is there. Foster has a chance. It's a back shoulder throw, and the accuracy is bang on to Eric Rodgers, giving his receiver a chance to win that battle at the top of the route. I mean, that's back shoulder throw at its best.
Chris Jones yesterday said he's a young Ricky Ray, and he wishes that comparison wasn't so accurate. Kendall Lawrence. Well, they have contained him, and there is Sherburne Ocampo on the teams getting the job done as well. Sherburne Products had a good day, and it's been a long day already for Mike Riley and the Eskimos.
Well, he's getting it out, but he's got to stand back there and start throwing it. And that's the question is, can he, number one, plant on that foot at all to get the ball deep? We haven't seen any of it from Edmonton in this game here now this evening. Can he even plant on it and get it down the field?
As a completion here, Paris Jackson has another catch. The good news for Edmonton, Calgary does give up some passing yards. The bad news is they're patient and wait on you to make mistakes.
And it's just a little bit more tender when he drops into that throwing motion, isn't it?
Saw the great feature in the pregame show from Matt Dunnigan talking about how he pushes the football. Here's Darius Bowman on the edge, and he'll step out around the 45 and get an Edmonton first down.
Yeah, that's what he does so well, and that's why he can fight through this foot injury, because as Matt Dunnigan explained to us and did in the pregame show that the power for your throw, especially on a deep ball, comes from the body, from the ground up. But because Riley is so big and strong at 6'3", 215, and he sort of pushes the ball in his release, he still has the ability to fight through the foot injury, but he's got to now just stand back there and chuck it. They've got to get big chunks here.
Take the right, airing it out, wants Bowman, jump ball, and Bowman, I think he does have the catch. Buddy Jackson had his hands on the football. Somehow, Bowman got the tip and had the foot in.
Well, Buddy Jackson won the first half in the one-on-one battles. This time, Bowman fades away from a little bit. Now, Jackson recovers, but does he get a foot in bounds when he has possession of the ball?
Foot's in, but is the knee down, and we're going to get a challenge from John Hufnagel, but it looked like he may have secured it before the knee hit the white sideline.
Right in front of the Calgary bench. Both feet were in bounds when Bowman first touched the ball. But you're right, when he tipped it to himself, when he had possession, was the knee down on the white stripe.
Calgary is challenging the ruling on the field of a completed pass. We'll review the play.
Take another look here. Both feet in bounds when he touches it here, but doesn't have possession.
That's a good catch.
It does look like he brings it in just before the knee touched. So this is after first touch. Now both feet are in bounds there. I think you're right, Chris. I think that play stands.
And on a day where there hasn't been much to cheer for the Eskimos, that's a highlight reel catch.
Yeah, because the right leg was on the top of Buddy Jackson. The left leg hadn't even touched yet.
I don't know if they have to go to the command center to just ask Paul Lapalisse, who's cruising down the sideline there.
See, that's on Buddy Jackson, and that other knee.
After review, the ruling on the field has been confirmed by replay. First down.
Yeah.
That's a 36-yard play for Darius Bowman. Down to the Stampeder 27.
Fred Stamps back in the huddle for the Edmonton Eskimos. I think it's just the second time I've seen him in there all game.
Calgary fans turn up the volume. Riley dumps it off, and John White is wrestled down by Duron Mayo. Well, those linebackers have done a job today, Simpson and Mayo.
Yeah, that play was designed to get Stamps and Bowman on the short side of the field and run everybody off, run the secondary off, so that they could get the one-on-one on John White on the linebacker like Duron Mayo. But Mayo was in such great coverage, the play just didn't have a chance to work, put him in second and long.
White goes to the sideline, 2nd and 8. Calvin McCarty in the backfield. Stamps to the short side. Riley steps up over the middle and incomplete. It was behind Bowman. There's a flag down in the Stampeder secondary.
And that flag came from a long way away from the play.
Illegal contact on a receiver. Calgary, number 29. 10-yard penalty. First down, Edmonton.
That's Jamar Wall, who was tied for the league lead in interceptions with Dexter McCoyle of the Eskimos.
You see the illegal contact on Devin Bailey. To defend this ground, you just can't trip him up like that.
So into the red zone for the Eskimo. First down. Short drop. Has time. Has Stamps. And a catch at the 5-yard line. They're going to mark him just short of the 5. And so it will be just short of a first down.
Well, little timing out there. He looks like he's going to go deep and go to the back of the end zone, then just pulls up, comes back to the football.
So 2nd and short, and they'll plunge for the first down. And get inside the 5. Just 2 for 5 in the red zone against the Stampeders this season.
Riley's barely getting back to that huddle.
But they may have to carry him off today to not finish. McCarty stays in, so John White not part of this. They're going to throw. End zone. Off a hand. Josh Bell with safety breaks it up. Incomplete. A little surprised John White wasn't there on a 1st and goal from the 3. He checks in now.
Well, I know what they're trying to do here. Edmonton's trying to get this matchup with the Darius Bowman and Fred Stamps here and get both those guys to run them off and get any back. Kendall Lawrence or John White out of the backfield in one-on-one, but just they're not getting it done. It's too good of coverage from the Calgary Stampeders.
White back in. 3 receivers now shuttle to the short side of the field. Another short drop. Back there again. Touchdown. Paris Jackson has a major score for the Eskimos.
Paris Jackson, just a subtle move when the ball arrives. This is the experience of Jackson to just reach back, take that extra step back towards the line of scrimmage. He has run his route deep enough that he had that room to just get a little separation from the defender.
Eskimos not going for 2. Thought they might to get it to 24. But they'll take it 1 point here after their first major of the game as Riley connects with veteran Paris Jackson. 5:55 left, 3rd quarter. Well, they got 1.
We're gonna fight to the end, baby. We're going to fight to the end. We're down by 3 touchdowns. I want to say what's up to my daughter.
So they get 1, and as Paris Jackson told you, they need 3 more and a little bit more. Cedric Cunningham bobbled and now takes off. Flags are flying as he's upended around the 45-yard line.
The reaction of Calvin McCarty to be holding against Calgary.
Touchdown for the Eskimos, 9 plays, 79 yards.
Holding. Calgary, number 27. 10-yard penalty. 1st down.
Jeff Heck called on the hold. Backs up Bo Levi Mitchell. That hasn't been a problem for Mitchell today.
Quite a game for Bo Levi Mitchell. The question always with a young quarterback in his first start in the playoffs, can he handle the big stage? And certainly Mitchell has done that with 4 touchdown passes. On one of them, John Cornish did all the work on that little shovel pass, but he's trusting his receivers. Great accuracy on the deep ball. 307 yards passing and 4 TDs so far.
Averaging 30.7 per completion. John Cornish takes off that time. Bo Levi Mitchell had 4 touchdowns, no interceptions in the 3 meetings in the regular season, so he has matched that in 3 quarters of football today. His max against the Eskimos in the regular season, 252 yards. This is 2nd 300-yard game of the season.
2nd of the season, just 3rd of his career at 307. And again, no mistakes so far, no interceptions.
Cornish again. This time met at the line and brought down. Dion Lacey there. No gain for Cornish. And it will be 3rd and 2.
It doesn't look like it's his first start in the postseason. The way he's played here tonight, and just the way he carries himself.
I'm reading between the lines, but we had a little chat yesterday, and I got the impression he was disappointed he didn't get named the All-Star in the West. I think he feels pretty confident of what he did this year, what the upside potential is, and that maybe he hasn't been completely noticed yet. We're noticing today. Kendall Lawrence, after a 45-yard Maver boot, is brought down immediately at the Eskimo 45. Just over 4 minutes left, third quarter. Sports features from team practices and more. It all gets underway Saturday at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific on TSN. Ticats are in. The Stampeders with a major leg up. And a critical series for Chris Jones's offense upcoming here.
He keeps looking at that scoreboard. Takes that big deep breath. That's 25 points. Seems like a tall mountain to climb, but it's one drive at a time for Mike Riley. Success off the last one. Can they build on it? Have to come away with points again, obviously.
Offense has Stamps and Bowman together. Bad shotgun. Scooped up there by White. Not sure if he was the intended target or not, as it slipped from the hands of the center, Justin Sorensen.
Boy, and Fred Stamps had got in behind coverage too, and that's, you know, that again shows you another illustration of the ultimate team game. When if you don't get the snap from center, the play doesn't work. You don't get the protection up front. You don't give your quarterback time to throw the football. Your receivers got to get open. You all got to work together. Stamps had a shot if Riley got the ball.
Second and 9. Taking a shot, wide open. Kuhorn's got it. And his momentum takes him out of bounds when it looked like he might score. But it is a big play from Riley to Nate Kuhorn.
That's the first time all game long that Mike Riley has just stepped back into that drop, planted that foot in the ground, and thrown a strike on time. He steps into this baby and he throws Kuhorn right to the sideline. That's why I threw him off balance a little bit and he ran out of bounds, or he walks in.
Former Calgary Dino, product of Medicine Hat High School. They lost the provincial final to Lethbridge this weekend. First down, Edmonton. Riley over the middle. Bowman's got it and scores. They're not done yet. Riley to Bowman, a 16-yard touchdown.
Darius Bowman knows he's going to take a hit here. Riley's got to throw him into the middle because of the coverage in the trail position by Brandon Smith.
Over 100 yards on the day for Darius Bowman. And they send out Hugh O'Neill again to kick one. O'Neill puts it through. 18 points, the lead for Calgary.
Formation finally pays off with Bowman and Stamps working together into the boundary. And Darius Bowman's going to run this route. Now Brandon Smith's going to play on the outside shoulder because he's got safety help in the middle, but that help comes a little bit late. It was Keon Raymond. Bowman takes the hit, absorbs it, and gets in, and that saves some time on the clock too for Edmonton to score right then, not have to run another play to get it across the goal line.
First touchdown for Bowman since the Labor Day rematch on September the 6th.
Hey, good job, fella.
A lot of of work still to be done, but at least there's a little light there at the end of the tunnel now. A couple of third quarter touchdowns. And Matt Walter has trouble fielding this. Scoops it up. Flag comes down. And Walter is dropped at the 25, but that's a couple of flags to sort out here. If it's going against the Stampeders, it's another long field here in the third quarter for Mitchell.
All right, the Stampeders could do no wrong in the first half. Had all the momentum, and it has shifted in this third quarter. John Hufnagel wants to get the ruling and get exactly what the penalty flag is, but you can see how momentum trickles to all the teams. Whether the offense gets a couple of scores, they get back in this football game, and the special teams look better. The defense starts to play.
Mentioned they closed the gap in the Labor Day game from 21 down to a 7-point difference last year. Here at McMahon, it was 37-7.
On the return, holding, 41, Calgary. Major foul, face mask, Edmonton. Go up 5 yards, first down.
So Calgary gets 5 on the offsetting penalties. Last year, that 37-7 lead became 37-34. So it is the Battle of Alberta, and strange things have happened before.
And lots of work to do, like you mentioned.
No question. And Chris Jones has a defense that has scored, and they may have to today to make all of this a reality. Mitchell steps up. Quarterback draw. And has about 3. Doesn't run a lot. 232 yards rushing on the season. Was injured in a game against the Argos.
Yeah, only 35 rushes for Bo throughout the regular season, but 10 of them in the 3 games against Edmonton. So that Edmonton defense has flushed him a little bit in the regular season. Not so much tonight yet. It's the first time we've really seen him take off and run with it.
Now J.C. Sherritt. Dion Lacey and the Eskimos look for a stop on 2nd and 7. They back off, send 3. Mitchell stands in, incomplete. Looking for Cornish over the middle.
Here's Chris Jones now dialing it up what he did in the first half, but showing him the same look. Watch this. They get that box loaded up. There's one to the left of your screen there, but they're not, all 7 aren't coming like they did in the first half. What do? They show it. They drop out. Dion Lacey drops. J.C. Sherritt drops. It makes Bo Levi Mitchell hold it for an extra second, take another look, and it's incomplete.
6-2 and out of the game for Calgary. And a momentum shift here in the third quarter. Maver to boot. Bouncing down, and Lawrence fields it. And is hit at the 46-yard line. 37-yard punt. But Mike Riley hobbled, but has engineered 2 touchdown marches here in the second half.
Still hope for the Edmonton Eskimos.
They start at their own 46. And quick hitter to Bowman, and he's up at midfield. So 9 sets up second and a lot of options.
So they hit a couple of deep balls, get a couple of scores, and what happens? Your receivers get more room. Calgary secondary now saying, well, hey, this is slipping here. Back up a bit and get Darius Bowman a lot more room.
Plunge ahead. That should be a first down. He'll get driven back, and that will get a reaction. Frank Beltre with the hit on the quarterback.
This is a play before. I want to show you again. Look at Darius Bowman down here, and now he's going to get a little bit more room. Remember how Buddy Jackson was up and in his face in that first half and winning a lot of the battle. Now he's got a lot of space in here, gets good success on first down. It's loosened up this Calgary secondary.
Going to measure as the sticks come out. Ball just inside the Calgary 54. And it is a first down. Well, the first uneasy moments of the evening for the veteran defensive coordinator of the Stamps.
Where your defense coordinator, Rich Stubler, leans on his veterans. Guys like Sean Lemon, Charleston Hughes, Juwan Simpson. Don't worry about it, boys. Just get everything settled down a little bit.
Could be the final play of the third quarter. Riley running out of time, in trouble. Juwan Simpson gets home. There's one of those vets.
Yep.
Big third quarter for Edmonton, but a big final play defensively for the Stamps as Riley gets sacked after engineering a couple of touchdown marches through 3 quarters of the West Final.
In the sling, and he did that in that third quarter. He had 143 yards passing, almost double of what he had in the first half. But, you know, I know Calgary fans will say, hey, you know, when you're 29-4 at the half, your secondary, everyone who backs up on defense a little bit and makes the team come all the way back series by series. Now they've got to tighten up and start playing defense again.
Well, and on cue, Juwan Simpson makes a big defensive play to set up a 2nd and long to start the fourth quarter, just when it looked like everything was starting to roll for Mike Riley.
Yeah, you lean on your veterans to calm things down, the guys that have been there before.
So 2nd and 18, more pressure. Riley moving around, downfield, Stamps unable to make the catch. Broken up by the safety, the former BC Lion who came over with Rich Stubler, Josh Bell.
Yeah, Josh Bell keeps working back. Riley's slow to get up here. But Josh Bell is in the middle of your screen. And because Riley extends his play, he bounces outside, extends the play. Now Fred Stamp's got to keep coming back to the football. Come back strong. That little pause cost him a completion there because Bell was able to reach around him and knock it out.
Sean Lemon with the pressure on Mike Riley, a 44-yard punt, and Cunningham is brought down by Mike Miller out of Acadia, makes the special team tackle, and it's the reaction of Mike Riley, and that is not good news at the Eskimo bench.
You know, as much as the hit from Sean Lemon had to hurt and likely affected that foot, it looked like when he really pushed off as aggressively as he did just to get outside initially, he might have hurt it then again.
Starting at their 23, Mitchell on a roll. He's in some trouble now. And just dumped it off there. Nick Lewis, does he have a catch? They're going to rule it is a catch at the 27-yard line.
Dexter McCoyle, a little bit of an argument there on the sideline. He thought that Nick Lewis was out of bounds.
While we get the chance, let's congratulate the Vanier Cup finalists. McMaster, led by Steph Pasek and Danny Machocha's Montreal Caravan.
You could see the veteran was well in bounds, at control.
It was
this hip pocket.
Loose on the hip pocket. That's that 6-shooter in the outlaw jersey as they wear their new uniforms today. Bully by Mitchell over the middle. Marquand McDaniel tells LSU. It's a first down.
Well, that's a nice throw against his own defense. Find the window, and Bo Levi Mitchell delivers. Started the game with real positive play down for the touchdown to Marquay McDaniel. This is timing on the zone. Get out and around the linebacker, Dexter McCoy, find the hole, and the ball's put right where he can catch it and protect himself.
Mitchell looking for a momentum-busting Calgary Stampeder drive. Fakes the Cornish. Pressure on. Jefferson spun him around, but didn't bring it down. Now he's dropped. Rennie Curran finishes him off after the initial pressure off the edge from Willie Jefferson.
Yeah, Jefferson, it looks to me like he's going to take advantage of the fact he's got his teammate Dexter McCoy outside and maybe distracted Spencer Wilson just for a second. That causes the problems for Mitchell.
So 2nd and 12. Does Chris Jones send the house? They drop off. Dumped off. Cornish. A double clutch. And they rally to Cornish quickly, and it will be 3rd down.
You saw after that last series, Dave Dickinson talked to Bo Levi Mitchell, and he was telling him that what Edmonton's doing now is showing you the blitz and dropping out of the blitz in 2nd and long. And now, in order to do that, we're going to have to dump it underneath that zone and have the playmakers make it. Now, John Cornish juggled that. If he catches it clean and turns, he can make people miss, as we saw in the first half, and we've seen all season and all career for Cornish. But that's what Mitchell's going to have to do. That's the evolution of this in the 2nd half.
Almondo Sewell was shaken up on the last play, and the big defensive tackle slow to get off. Rob Meaver to boot. And the Eskimos going to get it back with just under 12 minutes to go. Great year for Meaver. That one's skipping past Lawrence. He's back around his 10. Made the first man miss, but he is cornered. And that roll by Meaver produces a 52-yard punt. And Mike Riley may not be coming out. And onto the cart.
Well, he left it out there. He got to the 4th.
And a reason why the players in the league voted Mike Riley the toughest guy in the league.
See the disappointment. Matt Nichols show from here on in.
Started last week. Can he finish it today? Pressure on as Nichols scrambles. Looks downfield. Jackson's got it. And up over the 40, it's a first down.
I really think it was on that play where he was tackled from Sean Lemon that was the final straw for the right foot for Mike Riley. And maybe not necessarily even a hit from Lemon, but
after the play, major foul, unnecessary roughness. Calgary, number 11. 15 yards into the play. First down, Edmonton.
15-yard penalty against the safety, Josh Bell.
That will extend this play a little bit. Riley goes to the sideline. Let's take a look at that play again. Lemon tackles him, but I don't think he got the foot on the tackle. Watch how aggressively he pushes off the right foot right there. When he pushes off like that, I think that right foot causing the problem. That was the last straw for it. He's off. Matt Nichols gets things started with a good throw to Paris Jackson.
Nichols had a 333-yard passing game against the Stamps. He's got Paris Jackson again. 6 catch for Paris Jackson on the day. Started the season with the Red Blacks. A veteran presence in a young room.
Well, you got to give Matt Nichols credit. I mean, his first pass coming off the bench, he had to warm up quickly. He gets outside. That's the first one down the sideline, and he hits Paris Jackson back-to-back.
17 on the latest connection. Short drop. And he goes back there again. So he has some confidence in the veteran number 19.
He's working on with Paris Jackson. That's 3 in a row to Jackson. He had a couple of good games with the Darius Bowman against this Calgary team. The Labor Day back-to-backs. Remember, Matt Nichols started both those games. Bowman had over 100 yards in both those games.
Got 5, 2nd and 5. Another short drop, quick hitter. Bowman bounces off first contact. But Ron Mayo slips the football. John Wade unable to come up with it. It looks like Keon Raymond has it for Calgary.
Ron Mayo, he makes that initial hit. Keon Raymond hits him, gets up, keeps with it. He's going to end up recovering this after Mayo brings him down on the tackle and gets the strip.
Ball clearly out. 7 turnovers cost Calgary last year in the Western Final, but a key takeaway here in the 4th quarter to stem Eskimo momentum. In Calgary, +2 in the turnover battle today. Now back in the hands of Bo Levi Mitchell to lock this one up.
Against in this 3rd and 4th quarters, a new zone look from Edmonton, meaning Mitchell's got to use a little more John Cornish. Running game on 1st down.
There he is. Game tackled at the line. Willie Jefferson first among the Eskimo tacklers.
Chris Jones, every 2nd and long in this 2nd half has been show blitz, 3-man pressure, drop everybody else out, and then just go up and make a good tackle before the Calgary ball carrier can pick up 1st down yardage.
A lot of 2nd and long in this 2nd half for Calgary. 2nd and 10. Charbonneau Campo in motion. Pocket collapses, and underneath, big hit by McCoyle on Cornish.
Worked perfectly again defensively as they drop out of there. There's McCoyle, Rennie Curran, he's going to drop. 3-man pressure means that Bo Levi Mitchell has to dump it, and he just has to hope that John Cornish now make a couple guys miss, but Dexter McCoyle closes so quickly he doesn't have a chance to do that.
Didn't have time for the Gale move that time.
Kendall Lawrence got one in the semifinal. He's got to catch the ball in the air, though. It's caused him problems on the last one.
7 2-and-outs for Calgary. Maver with a great boot that has Lawrence back at his 32. Number 32 contained there. Rookie Adam Tebow with the tackle. 8:05 to go. It's Matt Nichols' game as they help Mike Riley to the Eskimo dressing room. 4th quarter, let's check in with Sarah Orleski.
Well, Chris, when the Eskimos got that last touchdown to cut the lead in half, there was a lot of excitement here on the side of the bench. Paris Jackson saying, I smell blood in the water. It is a lot more subdued right now, though, obviously, with the way things have gone and with the latest update on Mike Riley. Let's head over to the Stampeders sign with Farhead and Logie.
Sarah, these two teams for Calgary on offense and defense are taking their cue from their coordinators. Rich Stubler, every time Calgary makes a play, or Edmonton makes a play, he's all over it, getting excited, getting his defense motivated. Dave Dickinson, meanwhile, is the picture of calm, and his quarterback is following that as well.
Juan Simpson had it slip through his fingers after John White didn't make the catch. Number 12 with a shot at a 3rd Edmonton turnover.
Yeah, a couple of players that have really stood out defensively for Calgary. One has been Juwan Simpson. Had a chance at a pick 6 there, but the other, Buddy Jackson on the corner. Good 1st half for him.
2nd and 10 for Matt Nichols. Dancing around, and he's in trouble. And down he goes at the 28-yard line. Keon Raymond moves up along with Juwan and Simpson both with that 2008 Grey Cup team.
Chris Jones will punt one more time, I would think, before he gets into 3-down football.
Likely the last punt of the game for Hugh O'Neill.
Yeah, try and get a chunk here in your special teams. Get a little field position, and then from then on, it's 3 down.
Cunningham fielding it at the 38-yard line, a 43-yard punt. Brought down at the 46. Calgary football, they have an 18-point lead. Just over 7 minutes left in the Western Final. And with this drive, the Calgary Stampeders can book their trip.
Yeah, they put a drive together here, can chip away at the clock. 3 to 5 minutes. That'll do it. Edmonton, on the other hand, needs a 2-and-out. Got a little bit of field position back on the punt. Or a takeaway. Yeah, or a takeaway, and they've had a bunch of those in the regular season.
John Cornish gets to the outside, and Cornish runs over Ryan Hines and is close to a first down.
Edmonton defensively done a nice job stopping him running the football, Cornish. Cornish had some yards and big plays as a receiver. But running the football up to this point, Edmonton did a pretty good job on Cornish, but you got to stop them every single play all the time. They got to get in there now. Run blitz like they did against Saskatchewan. Chris Jones really has no choice.
From the Eskimo 53, you know who's getting the ball. And the pile gets pushed for an extra yard. And close to 4 for John Cornish to the 49.
Dave Dickinson's offense pushing the 400-yard mark, over 300 yards passing for Bo Levi Mitchell.
I'd like to welcome viewers from the Winnipeg Jets region. You see the time on the clock, 29-4 at the half, an 18-point Calgary lead, and the Stamps trying to nurse it here. A pass off the fingertips of Eric Rogers, who has a pair of touchdown catches in the game. And the punt team will come on.
That's exactly what Chris Jones, you knew he had to do it, so just load them up there, put 8 on the line of scrimmage, send them all. They complete this, it's basically game over. If not, there's still a chance for Edmonton. They're going to have a long field. Now, Kendall Lawrence has had trouble catching the ball in the air. When it's hit the ground, it costs some time plus field position.
Last week, 191 all-purpose yards for Kendall Lawrence. 5th consecutive punt after the Eric Rogers touchdown for Calgary. Lawrence will take this one cleanly at the 10. Up across the 20, 25 and a flag. And a big collision, and that's Adam Berger, the second-year man out of Simon Fraser, who is still down after the collision.
I think it was his own man. A teammate.
Covered teams have...
On the return, holding Edmonton number 25. It's a 10-yard penalty, first down.
Mike Miller called on the hold. This special team group for the Stampeders has been good today in containing Kendall Lawrence.
Ducked under that one.
But Tebow
and Berger.
A malfunction at the junction.
Yeah, they collide big time there. Getting Berger off the field. And it's a long field for Matt Nichols.
Three down time for the
about what's happened this year, and he said, look, I'm a team guy first, and as long as we're in this position and we're still have a chance to get to the Grey Cup, I mean, spectacular. Out of bounds, but unbelievable.
2nd and 10, low shotgun snap. Nichols recovers, dumps it off. Calvin McCarty, the 8-year vet, like stamps the senior men on the team. Back-to-back targets there for 6, and it will be 3rd and 4. And he started to send the punt team out, and now they have to back off.
No, he's got to go now, and you wonder with the way things have happened, could this be it for Fred Stamps as an Edmonton Eskimo? Does Matt Nichols go to his veteran here?
Fans know this could be ball game. 3rd and 4. Nichols throws, batted down, another knockdown. And there have been a bunch today by that Calgary front as they turn it over on downs.
Sean Lemon led the team in sacks. Sean Lemon tied a league mark in forced fumbles. I think that may be his 3rd knockdown of the game tonight.
Former Eskimo Sean Lemon let go, and Chris Jones knows that was the last gasp. They don't beat themselves, and they haven't made any mistakes today. Cornish left side. I might be saving him for next week. 6 for John Cornish, who would disagree vehemently, I'm sure.
Yeah. This time they want to finish it off, but not a bad thought when you consider he's had 2 concussions this year. Second to last game of the regular season against Winnipeg, suffered his 2nd. Cleared all through the concussion protocol of the last 3 weeks. 16 touches, just 44 yards rushing, but he had that big play on the shovel pass.
Once again, look at John Cornish put through for extra yardage inside the 5 and another first down. Well, the celebration will be ramping up now. We've hit the 3-minute warning. And the Calgary Stampeders are in charge and headed to the 2:41 on the clock. Comfortable on that Calgary sidelines. They've got a 1st and goal at the 2. And an opportunity to put the finishing touches on a dominant performance in this Western Final. Pitch to Cornish. Touchdown. 2nd of the game. 1 on the ground. After the big 78-yarder earlier.
And the Calgary O-line does the patented Edmonton barrel roll in the end zone to celebrate. Dave Dickinson calls him flat out the best player in the Canadian Football League right now.
Well, they stopped him on the ground for most of the game, and they still couldn't stop him. That 78-yard shovel pass for a touchdown was a first-half backbreaker.
Chris Jones still cannot solve the Calgary puzzle. This will be the clean sweep in 2014 for the Calgary Stampeders against this Edmonton football team. Beat them 3 times in the regular season, the back-to-backs on Labor Day, and the Labor Day rematch. And now in the West Final.
12th consecutive win for Calgary. I agree with Schultze, though, from way back at around noon today when he said this rivalry's just starting again.
Well, you have to have two teams to get a real rivalry going, and to rekindle it, you have to have two competitive teams. Edmonton hasn't been that for the last few years. They were this year. The rivalry is back because they're both competitive football teams. Credit Chris Jones, the leadership of Jones and Mike Riley. This is a 15-win Calgary football team that's on the way to the Cup.
Barrett on the return, and he gets hit hard across the 30-yard line. 2:12 to go on a turnaround season for the Eskimos. From 4-14, he took it over and has changed the landscape dramatically in Edmonton.
Oh, has he ever? 12-6 on the season. They fixed their home record too. Won 7 games at home of the 9. Basically taught them how to practice fast, so they played fast. The rivalry's back because Edmonton's back. Chris Jones done a nice job, along with Mike Riley.
Flag down as Kuhorn has the catch up at the 40-yard line.
Right, Mike Riley, who's now in the locker room, extension of Chris Jones, one of the toughest quarterbacks or flat-out players in the league. But then the question comes up to
too many men, Calgary. 10-yard penalty, first down Edmonton.
How about this, man? In the future for Fred Stamps, as I mentioned earlier, he said to me yesterday he wants to continue play, thinks he's got at least 2 more years in him, maybe 3. Will it be as an Edmonton Eskimo?
First and 10. Nichols dancing, now dumps it off, and Calvin McCarty can't make the catch.
So they're back. It was a bumpy road for Ed Hervey in his first year, but he built the team he wanted, and he got the coach he wanted. Bright future for that Edmonton football team.
Second and 10. Has time to take a shot. Wants Stamps. Incomplete. Well covered again, and Buddy Jackson deserves some credit because he was outstanding in the first half.
They found another way.
Hey, Edmonton's a great team. But they say, oh, it's not our destiny. This is our destiny. That's how we roll, boys. That's how we roll.
He rolled again today. Nichols in a different way. Kuhorn. And he'll get dropped there by Fred Bennett.
I'll tell you what, this Calgary team clinched first place on October 18th. 36 days ago. They flirted with the CFL record for wins in a season. Found different ways to win. Only had their star tailback for half of the season. He did what he could. He got to the 4th.
And he told Sarah, I might not make it to next week, but I'll leave it on the field. And he did all he could today. 4th turnover of the day. The turnover on downs, the second here in the late stages of the game. Mitchell going all the way, and Matt Walter straight ahead. And Calgary avoids the 15-3 curse that has been an issue for them in the past.
You're right. It's the postseason demons they're fighting in the finals. 15-win seasons that haven't turned out. 94 and 93 the way they wanted to. Well, they got another chance, 1 game away from exercising some of those demons.
Eskimos spoiled it in 93. BC did it in 94. Hard to believe that team with Flutie and Pitts and so many weapons won just once in 1992.
That's the cloud hanging over of Hufnagel and his great regular season record. And Go back to 2008, the last time they won. But we're going to have Calgary and Hamilton in 1999 and that matchup. And the quarterback for Calgary in that game is on the sideline right now, Dave Dickinson.
Met in 98 and 99. The 98 game with Jeff Garcia. The 99 game at Dave Dickinson.
99 Dickinson faced Danny McManus. They both threw for over 300 in that one.
Third and a yard, and whoops, it got by Levi Mitchell. And that'll be a turnover on downs the other way. Well, let's dial back to 1999.
Hamilton got out to a great start, 21-0 first half for Danny McManus. Darren Flutie ended up winning the game 32-21. Both quarterbacks over 300 yards passing. Flutie had over 100 yards receiving in that one. Orlando Steinadler, defensive coordinator for the Ticats, had a pick in that game.
Nichols to the wide side. Stamp gets away. And he will step out with an Edmonton first down.
That's what was most impressive to me for Dave Dickinson, John Hufnagel, and his staff is how they found different ways. Sometimes Bo Levi Mitchell didn't put up big numbers, but he didn't make a mistake. Didn't throw an interception, cause problems, and they win that way.
Nichols taking a shot, and Buddy Jackson, this is not a recording, with another pass breakup for the Stampeders.
Maybe their best player on defense. Great first half when they tried to get Darius Bowman matched up on him, and Buddy Jackson was there and rose to the challenge. I also think Juwan Simpson and his leadership in the middle kind of took John White out of the game early with great run-stopping defense from the middle linebacker spot. Sean Lemon on those knockdowns.
Nichols dumps it off to McCarty, pushed out. But you just mentioned it, every layer of that defense got the job done for Calgary today. Linebackers were prominent. Sean Lemon up front. Buddy Jackson.
Holding Edmonton, number 68. 10-yard penalty, second down.
In the secondary, Thaddeus Coleman gets called.
So a couple guys who have won championships as starting quarterbacks and as head coaches will face in the Grey Cup game, and John Hufnagel and Kent Austin.
Kuhorn. Dropped at the 45. We're on the losing end in 2012. Catch made by Devin Bailey, the rookie receiver. Another turnover on downs. Time for the offense to go out and go into victory formation.
Time for the celebration to begin for Calgary and their fans.
Great thing about the rivalry renewed is it's always sweet to win, but when it's Calgary Edmonton, it's a little bit sweeter.
Some great young quarterbacks in the league. Mike Riley, one of them. Bo Levi Mitchell, another.
One more knee and this one's done. And the trips to Vancouver are being booked right now. Stampeders are the West Division champs. either side now saluting each other after a hard-fought battle that has the Eskimo quarterback leaving the field on crutches.
Bo Levi Mitchell has now started 18 games in his career. That's a great moment of mutual respect between defensive coordinator and the courage of Mike Riley in this game. But Bo Levi's now won 16 of those 18 games.
And he's standing by with Farhan Lalji.
Bo, just 24 years of age, your first playoff start. How did you manage all of this and play one of your best games?
Game planning, great play calling by the coaches. The whole organization from top to bottom, man, we were just ready for this, and we knew what was coming. I mean, they're playing with the stop corners, and they did maybe a little bit in the run game, but not in the pass game.
Tell us about that first half, especially with the 4 touchdowns. You guys were able to get off to a pretty good start.
Well, I mean, we knew what they were going to do. They were going to come out and try and stop the run and make us pass to beat them. Luckily that we came out, we had such a great group of guys that put in all the work, all the effort, and they weren't complacent. They knew coming to this week that it was going to be a passing game for us. We're going to have to come out and make a lot of completions and win this game.
There's been so much talk about Calgary and playoff failure. Has that been a theme in this locker room to make sure you get it right this time?
Yeah, not really. To us, I mean, we can't control the pass. What happened in the past, happened in the past. And yeah, a lot of us were on those teams, but this is a new team. There's a new attitude, and there's a new way we go about ourselves. And we just keep fighting every single day to the end, and we're going to make sure we finish this thing off.
Yeah, look ahead to the Grey Cup next week and facing Hamilton.
Yes, sir. It's going to be good. It's going to be a good game, man. They're a great team, and obviously they played another great game against Montreal and pulled it out. So, man, starting tomorrow, get right back to the film room and get ready to go.
Well, thanks for this. See you in Vancouver.
Thank you, guys.
Chris?
National champion at Eastern Washington.
Marquay McDaniel got things started with a touchdown catch from Bo Levi Mitchell. He had 2 for 58.
Just thinking about Bo saying that we knew we were going to have to pass to beat him, and I think he was pretty excited about that opportunity because so often they do lean on John Cornish. He got a chance to show his stuff today. There's an old Eastern Washington teammate that will leave the field for the final time in 2014. Back to Farhan Lalji with John Cornish.
John, if I told you that you'd finish with around 40 yards rushing in this game and you guys would still win big, what would you have thought?
I would have 100% believed you. I think Edmonton has such a good team, and especially their defense. They came out ready to stop the run. I mean, everybody knew they were going to try that. So it was really up to Dave Dickinson and our offensive staff that really put us in position to win.
And part of that was getting you involved in the pass game quite a bit more.
Absolutely. I mean, I guess they weren't so much respecting me in the pass game, but in the second half they started respecting me a little bit more. So it was great to see sort of everybody step up. If I can run, it's great to see other people scoring. Aaron Rodgers, Marquay McDaniel. We have such depth, and it's great to see everybody step up.
You've been here for a while. You've been through some of the ups and downs since 2008 in the playoffs. How important was it, especially for the veteran guys, to not have that happen again?
Nobody in the locker room thought it was going to happen again. And, we're a different team than we were last year. We're a different team than we were 2 years ago. So I think everybody in this locker room has learned. People say, say losing is a bad thing, but I always see losing as a positive thing because you learn from it. And as long as we continue learning, I think we'll continue to be successful.
Look ahead to the Grey Cup and going back home to play in it.
I went home in the off season, and my mom's place is actually in Falls Creek, right across the water from the BC place. And honestly, this is what I felt we were going to do. And to be in this position at this point, I can't think of a greater experience.
Thanks for this, John.
Thanks, guys.
Another big performance for John Cornish. Now let's head back down onto the field. Rod Smith with the trophy presentation.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Commissioner of the Canadian Football League, Mark Cohan, for the presentation of the trophy to the West Division champion, Calgary Stampeders.
Guys, what a game, what a season today. You're going to the Grey Cup, but now I got to officially present the West Division Championship trophy. You and your fans have a great time in Vancouver. See you next week. Great job. Take it. It's all yours.
This is a team that won 15 games in the regular season and beat the team that was second in the overall standings, the Edmonton Eskimos, all 4 times to go to the Grey Cup. What has made this team special?
We battled through adversity. You know, there's been a lot of tough games, and we just keep fighting. You know, they had us on the heels today, even they were coming back, and we just kept fighting. And that's one thing about us. We've been through a lot, and I think that's what helped us get to where we are today. We're not happy. We know we still got 1 game to go, but we're going to enjoy this for the time being.
I know last year ended in disappointment right here on this field in the Western Final. You guys clinched first place this year so early. Was it a challenge staying focused to get ready for this game?
It was, but we came in day 1 of this year being focused. You know, after going through what we went through last year and the heartbreak that we felt throughout the offseason, guys, we're going to be focused from day 1. So it's a little bit easier this year. Hats off to the coaches, everybody, staff, everybody. It trickled down. Everybody was focused and knew what we had to do today.
Well, congratulations. Off to Vancouver for Grey Cup 102. Thank you
so much.
Juwan Simpson, one of the gang of 7 in the lineup today, the one in 2008. Suffered defeat in 2012, and going back again, Nick Lewis showing you the Stamps aren't superstitious about a division trophy.
They had the best record in the Canadian Football League, but for the Stampeders this year, it was about playoff redemption, about Grey Cup redemption. They have 1 more shot at it, 1 game away from exercising those demons.
Keon Raymond, another one of those veterans, with his family celebrating a spectacular performance by the Stampeders today. Opened up a 29-4 halftime lead and cruised to a berth in the Grey Cup. They'll meet the Hamilton Tiger Cats next week at BC Place. So long from McMahon. SportsCenter is now.